Hello everyone, welcome to episode 122 of Level Up, 60 minutes of live Q&A where your questions, chat and votes drive the show. As we get underway today, please let our social team know your name and the city you're joining from. We really love to get to know our audience and get everyone involved. My colleagues Ella and Adriana are online and will post a link in the chat to vote up the questions that you would most like answered, and of course for you to add in your own questions. If your question is selected, your name will appear in the credits at the end of the show, so do get your questions in early and stay with us to see that happen. Also, please do take a moment to like, comment, share and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything and it really helps new people discover our content. So January is always a time to focus on what we want to achieve in the coming year and develop the plans that will help us get there. Today's show is all about how you can achieve the career-related New Year's resolutions that you have set for yourself, whether it's to secure your next promotion, learn a new skill, or even develop a brand new career path. Our panel are ready and waiting with their advice on how you can turn these resolutions into a reality. So let's get straight into the show and meet today's panel. So returning panelist Mart Rovers is passionate about educating and coaching leaders and professionals and has been working in this field for more than 30 years. His areas of expertise include service management, business relationship management, information security, project management, and change management. Welcome back, Mart.
Thank you, Ellie. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year to everybody. Looking forward to some exciting questions, and hopefully we can help you with your questions. I want to start off again with a quote to say that success occurs when opportunity meets preparation, and preparation, that's what we're going to do today.
Perfect. Thanks, Mart, and Happy New Year to you. So joining us again for another episode is Shanice Mitchell-Cox. Shanice is the Customer Insight Manager at APMG International and has a wealth of experience helping customers in the education space. Shanice also has very strong operations and analytical skills and is currently studying for a bachelor's degree in business and management. Welcome back, Shanice.
Thanks for having me back, Ellie. It's so nice to be here as a panelist this time. Happy New Year to everyone who's watching, and I can't wait to answer your questions.
Thanks, Shanice. So our next panel member is Rachel Jenkins. Rachel is an experienced project program and PMO professional with over 25 years experience in the NHS and education sectors, specialising in complex integration and transformation delivery. An experienced leadership coach and mentor, Rachel regularly speaks at conferences and events, advocating a coaching and mentoring approach to project and program management. Thanks for joining us, Rachel.
Hi, thanks, Ellie. Great to be joining you again, and particularly this subject as well. A bit of a change for me away from the PMO, but I always think this time of year is sort of quite exciting with people's energies about, newness and, goals. And so I'm kind of looking forward to, being enthused and inspired by everyone today.
Yeah, and that's great. Thanks very much for joining us. So also back for today's panel is Svetlana Sidenko. Svetlana is the founder and president of IT Chapter, a Canadian women-owned company which specializes in strategic BRM and IT service management, consulting and training. Svetlana has also been a leading member and an active support of the Canadian BRM community since 2015. Hi, Svetlana.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. So I'm very happy to be here and share my experience in IT career development and in the role of IT certification in growing your career.
Thank you very much. So then completing today's panel is Imtiaz Kaderbhoy. Imtiaz is currently a trainer focused on business analyst and project management courses. He also mentors junior business analysts who are on the UK Business Analyst Apprentice Scheme and speaks at conferences including Agile on the Beach and IIBA conference in South Africa in 2022. Welcome to the panel, Imtiaz.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Looking forward to this hour. Again, I guess really relevant topic for this time of year. So I look forward to the conversation over the next 60 minutes.
Perfect. Thanks very much, panel. So our question master for today is Jennifer Hepler, who's joining us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hi, Jenny.
Hello.
Hi. May we have our first question, please?
Sure. So it's great to be here, and I'm really excited to be this is my first question master. on Level Up for this year. So let's take our first question. Is from Marianne in Florida. How do I go about setting my career goals for 2023? Is there anything that I should do that will help me with this?
Okay, great question, Marianne. Thank you. We'll go Shanice, Rachel, and Imtiaz, please, on this one.
I think the first thing to do is to plan out what you want to achieve. And when starting with that, I wouldn't think of all the big steps that you're going to have to take. I would look at the little steps that are going to help you get to that goal. So when you're writing your career plan or your career goals, have those big ideas further on in the list, but have the mini steps that are there that are going to help you get to those bigger goals.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thanks, Shanice. Rachel, your thoughts, please?
Completely echo what Shanice was saying about, you have a whole year to do it. So don't, try and jam it all in at the beginning and, lose motivation. I think one of the important things to do that we don't do is to think about what your blockers are going to be. What are going to be the things that might stop you getting there? And thinking about how you're going to get around those and manage those is just as important as having that clear goal.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Thank you. Imtiaz, your view?
Yeah, I guess just to add to that, what's been said is what things I do now is around, I'll have a goal maybe to, retrain as an agile BA or do a course, which is fine. But actually, what am I then going to do with it? So what's my sort of outcome of having achieved the goal? So almost, trying to wrap it up into, I guess, a bigger story of, yes, so maybe I want to do 3 training courses and to help my career, but actually, how's it actually then going to impact and influence what I then want to do? Because sometimes doing that individual task or goal, doesn't necessarily lead to anything better. So have a think about, what are you going to do with it? And is it relevant? And how will it help me then progress to the next stage?
Yeah, that's really useful feedback. Thank you, Imtiaz. Svetlana, I think you wanted to come in on this one as well, and then we'll go to Mart to finish us off.
Yeah. My recommendation, advice here would be to keep you to be the open-minded and consider multiple options, and also start the research about the market demand and what market is looking for, and how your skills and your knowledge and also desires correspond to what market is looking for. So the LinkedIn is career page is a very good place to start to look at the market demand and consider options.
That's really good advice for the audience. Mart, your thoughts to close us off on this question, please.
Well, first off, make sure you set goals, right? And then indeed, like was said earlier, don't forget the short-term goals, but make them smart in ways: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. In other words, don't say, I want to be a better leader. All right, well, that's not really a smart goal. Make a little bit more specific what it means for you and for your organization, for example, and make it, let's say, measurable, as in, now I can celebrate success because I've achieved something when it was about accomplishing my goal. So that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, no, that's really great advice. Great feedback from the panel there. Consider how relevant your goals are. Chunk them up into smaller pieces so you can feel achievement and they don't seem so scary, and measure them as you go along. So yeah, thanks for that. That's really great. Jenny, please may we have our next question?
Sure. Our next question is from Diane. Is reflective listening an important aspect of communication to develop to enhance my professional career development?
Okay, thanks for that one. We'll go Shanice and then Rachel, please.
I think reflecting listening is important in all areas of our life, in work and outside of work. So I think this is something that we should all be focusing on. We can get so caught up, especially in a virtual world, with just staring and looking at somebody and not listening to what they're saying. I think to make us a better version of ourselves, reflective listening is the most important skill that we need to go into 2023 with.
Thanks, Shanice. That's really, really helpful there. And Rachel, your thoughts, please?
So I wanted to add something around sort of some tips and tricks that can help you with reflective listening. And it kind of links into your learning style. So not everyone is a natural learner through listening. So try and use some tips to help you focus on listening. So is it taking notes? Is it making a mind map? Is it sort of doodling what you're hearing? Those will help you, tune into listening, and then that's going to help on the reflection as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The other one is to play it back to people as well, isn't it? I think Svetlana would just like to finish us off on that one, please, before we move on to the next question.
So reflective listening or active listening is a very important skill and is a part of the emotional intelligence, right? So, and reflective listening and emotional intelligence help us to build relationships. And when we do build relationships, we have way more opportunities to develop our careers. So I would also see the reflective or active listening from this angle.
Thank you, Svetlana. That's really helpful. Diane, I hope that was a good answer to your question. Jenny, please may we have the next question?
Sure. Next question is from Christine. My colleagues got certified in business relationship management. Is this certification only for BRMs? Would it help me to improve relationships within my team?
Okay, so those of you who are BRM experts on the call, Svetlana, we'll come to you and then see if any of the rest of the panel want to join in.
Yeah, well, as certified in business relationship management myself, and master of business relationship management and a trainer, in fact, in BRM, I would say business relationship management is important for everyone. It's not only for individuals who have the role of BRM, but it would be extremely useful for anyone in organization. And indeed, this specific knowledge and ultimately certification would help you to improve relationship within your team.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we will now go over to Mart, and then we'll go to Imtiaz for responses to this question, please.
Yeah, this is an easy one to score, right? I mean, it's of course it's important. Relationships are everywhere, right, in any organization. So it's not just up to the folks that have a title that says I'm a business relation manager or an IT business partner or anything like that. Will benefit from great relationships. We all benefit from great relationships. We may have to have a few folks that can lead us and guide us how to establish great relationships, how to nurture and advance them. And indeed, the relationship management, the BRM Institute has put forward some great training courses in this field of expertise to help anyone in any organization to become a better person to establish trust, meet needs and expectations, and therefore build stronger and lasting relationships where you as a team can thrive, you as an organization can thrive, your customers, your business partners will benefit from it. So yeah, it goes a long way when you focus on this particular competency or discipline.
Yeah, it's definitely a great skill for everyone to have. Imtiaz, your thoughts on this one, please?
Yeah, I guess a bit of a different lens. As a BA, I've worked with BRMs a lot over time, and they can be, a lot of them are really good in the functional aspects of the role, but the really good ones have excelled in listening, in active listening, in playing back, in understanding, being able to talk to multiple different teams, multiple different people with different interests and needs across a business. And that skill for me has been really useful as a BA, but also means that good BRMs can then communicate with their teams, but also wider teams as well. So that communication angle, I think, really important part of a BRM role.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as the panel have said, that's definitely one for a lot of people working in lots of different industries to consider adding to their skill set. Relationship management is key, I think, just to career success. Okay, thank you, panel. Jenny, I'll invite you back, please, for another question.
Sure, this one's from Zoe. Can you share your best examples regarding the effective measurement on the journey to success in an organization using quantitative and qualitative methods?
Okay, thank you, Zoe. That's a great question. Rachel, will come to you on this one while the rest of the panel thinks if they'd like to add something.
Okay, so a couple of tools I've used with clients from a coaching perspective is to do some value mapping. What are your values? What are your motivations? How do they match the organization that you're in? Because wherever you have a match, that will help accelerate success. But also as well, things like 360-degree assessments, and they're a really, really good way of getting feedback from all sorts of levels of colleagues, from your managers down to people in your team, peers, who will give you hopefully honest advice on where you could be improving, and that will always give you a sort of a signpost of where maybe somebody's picking up you could improve, or where it's working well. So those are two things I think are really helpful.
Okay, thank you very much, Rachel. That's really helpful. Mart, we'll come to you for some more thoughts on this one, and then Shanice, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to dissect this one, because the journey to success, let's define success, and then we can come up with specific quantitative and qualitative methods, right, to start measuring what that success is. So I'm just going to make up a few, as far as, I want to be better connected, or I want to know a few more things because I attended a few webinars and I have a few takeaways that I'm going to apply, or I read a bunch of books and that was my goal. I started, let's say a book a month, and took some takeaways from that and applied those, and see if that works, and maybe do it collectively. As a team, read a particular book and then talk about these takeaways and apply those. Again, it's a little bit an open question as far as what success and what these, quantitative and qualitative methods can be. So I hope this inspires a little bit as far as, how to start measuring something that's more concrete.
Thanks, Mart. Hopefully, Zoe, that's given you some food for thought for your question. If you have any more questions, please put them into Slido and we'll come back to you shortly. Jenny, can I... Oh, actually, Shanice, I think. Sorry, apologies, Shanice. You were going to add to that one?
Yes, I do. Thanks, Ellie. So just something that I've recently started with my own team is a personal development plan, and not just that I've given them to fill out and we kind of forget about it. On our one-to-ones, we go through it, we talk about what their individual goals are and what our team goals are at the same time. Now, that PDP doesn't just sit with us. I also want their mentors to get involved with their own development. And I've found that the team have really enjoyed working on that so far. So I don't know if it's going to be successful. Fingers crossed it is. But that could be an area that you would like to maybe consider, Zoe. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, thanks, Shanice. I think that's great advice. It really shows your support as well from the organisation on them achieving success. Svetlana, your thoughts on this one, please, and then Imtiaz, if you can finish us off after.
Yeah, I have a couple of examples which I used in my consulting practice. So the quantitative method is related to their skills matrix, and skills matrix is very important tool in development the internal career path of the individuals. And the quantitative is how many teams and groups do have the skills metrics and do maintain it and update it and have tangible results on it. As for the qualitative method, I would recommend the employee survey before and after certain initiatives which lead the organization to success, and compare. Give them the same survey before and after and compare qualitatively. It's a very powerful tool.
Thanks, Svetlana. Great advice. Imtiaz, your thoughts?
Yeah, just on a quantitative. So as a BA, there's a Sophia skills framework which we use to measure ourselves against various levels of being a business analyst. Again, really good framework to use to tick and cross where we think we're sort of good or potentially weaker on. And just on a qualitative side, just to add to the conversation around 360 feedbacks, I also use peer review. So one of the things I did early on in my career, I did a requirements course, and all to make me, able to write better sort of business requirements. And actually having the confidence to ask my colleagues to look at my work. But the feedback I then got continuously just made me improve that much quicker, as well as that maybe official sort of PDP process, which may be every 6 months or yearly, but that almost ongoing constant feedback from people, my peers, really helped in my sort of development.
Brilliant, thanks very much. And so Zoe, full panel answer for you there. So hopefully that was useful for you, and we'll bring Jenny back in for our next question, please.
So our next question is from Aline. What skills and experiences do you need to build not only be successful in your current career, but also to find success afterward?
Okay, another one of those sort of generic ones. What skills do we need? So we'll start with Shanice, and then we'll go to Svetlana, please.
I would say confidence. Confidence is a big thing personally for me. It's something that you can continuously build on, but you have to be exposed to putting yourself out of your comfort zone to feel that, oh, this is a bit uncomfortable, to then get over that barrier. So building on your confidence is something I think we continuously do as humans. And I know that for me, it can be a challenge to push myself out of that comfort zone to get that feeling. So yeah, that's what I would say. Push yourself out of that comfort zone and get that confidence that you need.
Yeah, and there is that great saying, isn't there, Shanice, that creativity happens just outside your comfort zone. So that's really great. Svetlana, your thoughts, please.
My thoughts are about diversifying your skills. My personal experience and well, education and domain is information and technology. And what I observe, many of my colleagues, they are becoming like professional. It's one skill. So we're observing people like network administrators, programmers, even project managers or business analysts in the specific domain, and they are deepening and developing their skills in this domain, but they are not going further in diversifying their skills in something which we call like soft skills, or skills which are more integrated and transferable in organizations. We can talk about communication skills, relationship skills, general knowledge of information and technology, governance, IT service management, and so on and so forth. And this way, we're becoming key professionals. So on the top of our main specialty, we have supported ourselves with many others, and it opens us way more career opportunities and sustains it for the future.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. That T-level specialism is really important. We're going to go to Imtiaz, then Mart and Rachel on this one, please.
Yeah, I was going to sort of talk about that T really, but I guess I always come back to, and I see it a lot with some junior people that I mentor, always classically a focus on some of the technical skills required to do a job, without there being a real focus on communication, facilitation, leadership, influencing, all those personal skills that are transferable, right? You can take them anywhere, into any role in your personal life as much as professional. And I always encourage people to have just as much focus on that side of the equation as much as those kind of technical skills needed to do the job you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. Mart, over to you, please.
I'd like to focus on the ability to connect and to build your own network, be a networker, establish a network. I mean, I run into many folks that are in leadership positions and they want to switch careers, and their network is like nothing. And not having that network behind you to leverage from that and get the door open to other, opportunities, you're missing out on a lot. I know we're coming out of a challenging period with the pandemic, where it was not the easiest thing to connect, in person. But was there ever a moment in time that we have the ability to connect because of what we're so connected around the globe through the internet and with all the ways to connect? This is the time. I mean, if you miss out on that, I think you miss out on something enormously that can help you in your career, no matter what you're going to do. So build your network and nurture it and make it a quality network.
Yeah, great advice there. Rachel, close us off on this one, please.
Okay, so for a slightly different perspective on that, I would say always stay curious, never stop learning, and all the people around you, everyone is always really flattered when you want to learn from them or you want to ask their advice. So never be, sort of go back to what Shanice was saying about confidence. Be confident to ask, and to ask people to share their learning. And, if you hear something, make a note of it, go Google it, read a book about it, watch listen to a podcast, but never stop learning.
Yeah, thank you for that, Rachel. I think Shanice just wants to come back very quickly on that one.
There is one thing that I just wanted to add, empathy. I think all of us could benefit from being empathetic when it comes to working with others. You never ever know what anyone's dealing with that day or in their life. So I think it's really important that we all start with that basis of don't judge anyone, just have empathy around all situations.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Shanice. So, Aline, we've got be confident, be curious, be empathetic, and work on those skills which cross careers, cross industries, communication, facilitation, all of that kind of thing. So hopefully that's given you some food for thought. Jenny, can we invite you back for another question, please?
Sure. Our next question is a little bit more specific. This one is from Mohammed. What abilities should members have within a digital transformation program in a public body?
Okay, thank you, Jenny. We'll go Mart, Rachel, Svetlana, please.
It's a great question, Mohammed. So yeah, I mean, the word transformation says it all. It's about change. And, the better you can deal with change or prepare for change or manage change, handle change, the better you will come through it, of course. And we're in the world today where we're constantly changing, and there's not one change going on, most often multiple changes at the same time. So in other words, beef up on that skill as far as, change management, what it would be to make a change successful, would be something to definitely focus on.
Yeah, thanks. Great advice there, Mart. Rachel, your thoughts, please.
So almost kind of just a tiny little throwback to what Shanice has just said. My word, really, having worked in the NHS and been involved in digital transformation, it's those soft skills, and it is about that empathy. To empathise with people, empathise with their fear, the uncertainty of the change, because building those relationships, being empathetic, harnessing those soft skills is what will bring those people with you. And digital transformation change, the technology will not drive the change if the people don't want to come with it and use it.
Yeah, I think that's great advice and ties into what Mart was saying. The change management program certification talks a lot about understanding and empathizing and bringing people with you. Svetlana, your thoughts, please, on this one.
Well, my thoughts on it, being a part and leading many digital transformations in my career, I would say I would feature two most important from my perspective. It's influence and resilience. And influence is the ability which helps us to bring the value and bring organization to where we believe is important, and anyone can influence in any position, even in the entry position. And the good news is it's a learned skill. You can learn how to influence. And another one is resilience, which is a mindset. It's an ability to deal with uncertainty, ambiguity, constant change, and to still stand strong and see the goals and take your colleagues with you. So there are two, influence and resilience.
Perfect. Thank you, Svetlana. Shanice, your thoughts on this one, please?
I would say patience. Not everybody is up at the same speed. Not everybody learns the same way. So I think being patient and reaching out if there are people who aren't at the same pace as you or as others, providing that support so that they feel that they're also part of this transformation. I don't think it's a good feeling when you feel like you're being left behind because you can't understand the change or you can't adapt to the change. So I think patience when you are waiting for others to catch up with the rest of the digital transformation.
Yeah, I think that's some great advice. Thanks, Shanice. The other one I would add to this is storytelling is a great ability for somebody to have to help with that influencing. There is some great content from other Level Up episodes we've had that have been particularly about that. So, Mohammed, you can hop on over to APMG International and take a look in the question search and find the video clips from that about using storytelling to influence behaviour. Thank you. Jenny, our next question, please.
Absolutely. The next one is from Cassie. My New Year goal is to change my career, but I have no experience in that industry or role. Where should I start when it comes to gaining experience?
Okay, thanks, Cassie. So we'll go Shanice and then Svetlana, please.
I'm going to focus back onto what Mart said earlier. Reach out to your network, build your network, because there is going to be somebody out there that would like to help you, can provide some advice. So LinkedIn, closed groups are a really good way of, or membership organizations are a really good way to build that network out.
Thank you, Shanice. That's really helpful. Svetlana, your thoughts, please?
Yeah, I was just about to talk about the network, which I support a lot. Another great way, which I saw many times, is volunteering. And volunteering and job shadowing. Many organizations would appreciate volunteering, and of course, education. Start with education and try to learn something important in the field to educate yourself.
Thank you, Svetlana. Yeah, Imtiaz, you would like to add something? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Svetlana.
Yeah, I wanted to add, yes, sorry, I wanted to add that education not necessarily like a long college or university programs, right? So it could be a short education. There's a lot of educational platforms currently available, not expensive, where you can go and start educating yourself to build up your knowledge about the field.
Thank you, Svetlana. Imtiaz, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I think volunteering is a great avenue to help yourself to get into a new career. Also, I think in addition to the network that we may build through LinkedIn and other type avenues, also where you work is also a great place to have a career change. And I've done it twice in fairly big companies. Network with the people you work with, the teams that are in your company, and actually make it known to your management as well that you're interested in diversifying, because most big companies or most companies are open to that idea and suggestion, and often they encourage it. And then you could use the internal network and world that you work in to maybe network with some different teams more, maybe attend some of their meetings. I began just getting friendly with a lot of teams in IT when I wanted to move into IT, and slowly started to attend some meetings, made a couple of friends, went for lunch occasionally with a couple of people. And sort of step by step, I managed to find an internal move that got me into the role I wanted. It took a bit of time, kind of, just slowly work towards it within the company that I was at. So, use that place as well.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thanks, Imtiaz. Mart, can you finish us off on this one, please?
Yeah, just quickly, the recommendation to find a coach, an executive coach, being one myself, it's half of the folks I'm coaching, it's about this, to advance in their current career or to make a switch in their career, a different organization. So find a coach, somebody that can help you, guide you, nudge you. It's more common than we think these days that people look for coaches, and there's a bunch that even pay out of their own pocket. Don't wait for the organization to pay for it.
Yeah, thanks, Mart. That's really helpful. Jenny, please may we have another question?
Sure. This is from Christine. I work in the field of IT governance and help organizations to put together KPI reports. Are there any specific courses which can help me in my job?
Okay, thanks very much, Christine. Svetlana, we'll come to you.
Yeah, well, IT governance happens to me to be my field, long-term field as well. And the course or certification, which I strongly recommend to achieve this goal, is COBIT 2019. Which is by far the best source and reference for IT governance, IT balance scorecards, and the collection of key performance indicators, KPIs, which organization can use to build the reports.
Thanks, Svetlana. Christine, we'll get somebody to pop a link to that in the chat for you, so you can go and take a look at that one. Actually, we have Imtiaz who'd just like to add something to this one, please, before we move on.
Yeah, I guess there's a whole bunch of technical courses you could do in that world of, creating reports. But I guess I'll come back to what I do as my core job is as a BA and trainer. A lot of our work is root cause analysis, problem solving, and actually understanding what people want from this data. And then what we do, we talk a lot about actionable insight. So not just a report or, a report for a report's sake. What information do you need to make effective decisions to drive the business forward? So even thinking about maybe some of those courses that look into how you go about analyzing, investigating problems and root cause and challenging people on what they want can sometimes help as well and actually produce better quality output.
Perfect. Thanks, Imtiaz. Okay, thank you, Christine. Jenny, can we have another question, please?
Sure. This one's from Marie. So in 2023, I would like to improve my profile online. Any tips for how to do this?
Shanice has got her hand up. Brilliant. Thank you. We'll go to Shanice first for this one.
I would, first of all, look at, if you've got a LinkedIn account, look at your LinkedIn account. Work with some colleagues who can endorse you. You've got to look at your LinkedIn account a little bit like a digital CV. If you can get endorsements on there from your colleagues or people that you know to highlight the skills that you have, that would be a great way to start.
Yeah, perfect. Great advice. Thank you. Svetlana, your thoughts, please.
Well, my thoughts is describe well your career, your experience, your education, your certification, and your certifications, and find the golden middle. Not too much of information which would be difficult to read, and not too little. Highlight the main points of your job experience and your education, and seek for the endorsement of your colleagues and your managers. That really improves your profile. And finally, something not to be ignored is what we observe many times: visual. Just make a good professional picture. It really helps to improve the visual standing of your profile. And by the way, I'm talking about the LinkedIn profile, and then there are other social media over there which you have to watch and be careful to ensure that it corresponds to your professional standing.
Thank you, Svetlana. That's great feedback. We'll go to Mart next, then Imtiaz, and back to Shanice, and then Rachel, please.
Just two things. One, show that you're a lifelong learner and not somebody who gets stale. And definitely APMG has done a good job. Just a pitch here on these digital badges that they share with you once you've passed another exam. Means show that you're that lifelong learner also by showing off these digital badges. But the other thing I want to mention is be authentic. Just be yourself. Don't make up this high fluffy story, as in where people see right through it. As in, people want to get to know you, as in you. Who are you? So be authentic as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. Thank you. Imtiaz, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I was just about to say the best advice I got about 3 or 4 years ago was be authentic. Because we all read what everyone else is doing and they all sound amazing and doing amazing things. But be yourself. It always helps. And the one thing I do advise a lot of younger people, some of the junior people entering IT, is just manage the risk as well. So just make sure that any other social platforms you're on don't destroy your professional profile. So just be careful that you create a platform that showcases you in your best light. And so I guess just be
Great
careful
advice.
of that as well, because we can destroy by the same token.
Yeah. We live in a world where everyone can see everything, right?
Absolutely, right. It's all on digital. It's all recorded. And kids will realize that in years to come. But manage the social platform, well.
Thank you. Shanice, back to you.
I would also be consistent with posting. I wouldn't post anything that's not relevant or not real to you, but do post some stuff on your account. There's little point in opening up a LinkedIn account and just forgetting that it's there. So just highlight some skills that you have, use it to reflect on your work or the past year that you've had, because people can connect with that. People do connect with that. So yeah, keep engaged with your network as well.
Yeah, definitely. And an easy way to do that is often to find other people that you agree with and repost. You can be active just by reposting. Rachel, your thoughts, please.
Just sort of kind of building on what you and Shanice have just said, and again that authenticity thing. Don't waste your time when you're engaging with your social media on your LinkedIn. Build productive online relationships. Comment on other people's posts. Start, a sort of a conversation with them, and post some of your own content. Whether that's a comment or an opinion of your own. People will come and look at your profile if they think they're going to find something interesting to see. But just be aware that if you post sort of opinions and things like that, not everyone is going to agree with you. So be prepared to, have a debate, stand your ground, and don't take it personally if someone doesn't agree with you.
Yeah, everybody loves a provocative post, don't they? I was waiting for you all to say it, but you didn't. But one of the ways to raise your profile online is, of course, to join us here on the panel on Level Up. So if you think that you would like to talk about your expertise and answer some questions, please do register to attend. And that would be great. Okay, Jenny, I'll welcome you back for another question, please.
So this one is from Simon. I never seem to stick to my goals. What is one thing I can do today that can help me to stick to my 2023 goals?
Okay, great. Thank you, Simon. Rachel, and then Shanice, please.
So, Simon, I'm going to circle back to something that I said earlier on, is what are your barriers and blockers going to be? What's the things that are going to trip you up, have tripped you up in previous years and stopped you achieving them? And have a plan as to what you're going to do differently this time. Because if you just keep doing the same thing, you'll always get the same result. So think about how you can approach it differently this year.
Thank you, Rachel. That's great advice. Shanice, your thoughts, please.
I would tell somebody, Simon. I would tell somebody what your goals are and ask if they can help you achieve them. Because I think when you've told somebody and written it down with somebody there to witness, it has happened. It has happened at that point. They know you've got a goal to achieve and they might want to help you achieve that goal. So collaborate with someone else to achieve them. Goals aren't just individually, individual activities that we've got to achieve. Work with your team to do it.
Yeah, absolutely right, Shanice. That external accountability. The moment we've said we're going to walk a mile a day in January, and then everyone's watching to see if we do it or not. So yeah, external accountability is a great way of getting you to stick to your goals. Thank you very much, panel. Jenny, please may we have another question?
So this one's from Cassie. What are the panelists' goals for 2023?
Great question. Panelists, are you ready to be externally accountable with some of your goals for 2023? Mart, Rachel, and Shanice, please.
That's an easy one. Participate on this panel.
You've done it already, Mart. You must have another goal for 2023.
I'll leave it up for the rest of the panel.
Thank you. Rachel, we'll come to you, please.
Okay. For me, it's sleep. Stop trying to find 25 hours in a day and accept that sleep is, really essential to have the energy and the brain space to help achieve your other goals. So mine is very much about go to bed a bit earlier and, try and switch my brain off a little bit more.
Yeah, such a good one, Rachel. We had quite a big discussion on Monday about self-care and about what actually can you really achieve in your career goals if you're not firstly looking after yourself. Important one. Shanice, on to you.
I have two. I have to achieve my goal in line with my team. We have set out to grow our personal LinkedIn accounts. So that's one of our team goals. And secondly, is to spend more time at the beach. The beach for me is just my total relaxation. And, from that self-care element, I've got to do the things that I really want to do this year. So go to the beach, Shanice.
I love that goal. Thank you, Shanice. And Imtiaz, your goal for 2023, please.
Yeah, I've got a couple around training in terms of my profession and grow the training side of the business, and hopefully that'll be successful. Got a few metrics in there as well to keep me honest for the year. I've got a personal one around fitness, but I think mainly for me, I've personally found these resolutions not the best way to work it in terms of get to January, bit of a slump, and it can be quite hard. What I work towards now is more just ongoing goal setting and try and make it a constant part of what I do and constant evolution. So things like, even with fitness, it started in November when everyone's thinking about, or start in January, but started in at that time and had small little targets. Right? So I haven't really got a goal to become, the fittest, strongest, biggest person by this time next year, but actually just some short, small goals. At least every month I can go, yeah, I've hit that little metric. I've hit that little metric, and maybe someone says something nice, maybe about something, a change of appearance, maybe along the way. But a couple of really small little things that kind of help. And an ability to climb one of the tallest mountains in the UK in the next month. Again, just a nice, relatively small, short-term target that means I'm just achieving something along the way, because who knows where the end is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
Over time.
Yeah, I totally agree, Imtiaz. Thank you for that. Personally, I've decided this year not to go with resolutions, but more intentions, sort of similar to what Imtiaz was saying, not to think I'm going to try and do things slightly differently rather than set specific goals. So one of mine is to improve my digital skills. So how can I do things to make my life a little bit easier in the office using technology that's available? So that's one that I'm working on. Svetlana, actually, would you like to add to this one just before we move on?
Yeah, I founded my company, IT Chapter, 20 years ago. And every year, of course, my goal is to grow my company. But personally, in 2023, my goal is to finally complete my PhD in computer science, which I started several years ago and still not completed. And at the same time, take more quality time with family and children. And this is challenging, as for everyone else, to combine different sort of conflicting priorities. But my goal is to combine, actually, to achieve both.
Perfect. A better work-life balance. That sounds great. Okay, Jenny, can we come back? Can you come back, please, for what will I think be our last question of the day?
Yes, this one is from Lisa. If it gets really tough to cope on my own, how can I engage my environment to help me succeed?
A great question, Lisa. Thank you. So, panel, how are we engaging our environment to help with success? Rachel, we'll come to you first on this one, please.
Lisa is, it's as straightforward as it sounds. Ask for help. People can't support, people can't offer help if they don't know that you need it. So, do not be afraid to ask. There's always someone who wants to help, and through that you'll find your tribe. You'll find people who think like you, and will support you and help grow your confidence.
Yeah, perfect. Great advice there. Thanks, Rachel. Imtiaz, your thoughts, please?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be authentic and ask and reach out for help and support. And it's amazing, actually, what comes back, even on LinkedIn, in a professional network, sometimes not associated maybe with personal help or dealing with maybe tricky situations. But it's amazing even how platforms like LinkedIn can really support and help you both on a personal and professional front. And I think during COVID, we all got a few examples, but I reached out to a couple of people and I ended up forming a couple of really good friendships that helped personally. That we began studying together, and actually during COVID, to each other really hard because we were accountable to each other, but got us studying and out of a bit of a rut. So, definitely reach out. People are generally always going to offer a kind, supportive hand.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Thanks, Imtiaz. I would say that, we just started talking about external accountability then, but that also can be a positive thing as well, Lisa. So if you discuss with people in your organisation what your goals are, then also they know it's a priority as well, and they can maybe give you space to be able to, to help with that and support to help with that as well. So, yeah, I hope that is helpful. We actually do have time for one more question, I think, Jenny.
Great. This next one is from Simon. I am new to management and I want to help my team achieve their new year professional goals. How can I provide support to them?
Okay, so panel, providing support to our team to help them with their goals. Shanice, we'll come to you.
So I'm quite new to management, so I don't come with lots and lots of experience. I'm kind of learning as I go along with the support of my colleagues. Having regular chats with them, and as I said earlier, once they've told me their goals, I can help them, collaborate with them, help somebody. If I can't help them, I can help find somebody who can help them. So yeah, regular meetings, one-to-ones, and check-ins to see how they're doing, not only inside work, but outside work. Because I think when you have things going on in your professional life, something's got to give. And I think if you can provide support when somebody needs it in and out of work, it can help the other, like a bit of a balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's right. So Svetlana, your thoughts on this one, please.
So I would recommend managers to identify relevant skills for the goals of the team members, and help your team members or help your employees to develop these skills. So I recommend to use SAFIA skills framework for information age, which is a great tool to identify the skills. It's free. It's available on the web. It comes from UK actually, to identify the skills. And of course, train your people. So the training and knowledge brings employees to the new skills, which ultimately brings them to development of the new competencies, which bring them closer to their goals.
Yeah, thanks, Svetlana. Great advice. Rachel, can you finish us off on this one, please?
I would say come up with a team goal as well to run alongside it. And that will enthuse everybody, give them some motivation. But also as well, there are always going to be up and down times when you're trying to achieve your goals. So if you are working together as something as a team, sometimes that can be going well, and the motivation from that can help to push you and help you to continue with your personal ones as well.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. That's great advice. I would just add, Simon, that some of the other advice from today would be really helpful. So we were talking earlier, I think Mart was talking about SMART objectives, working with the team to make sure that what they're trying to achieve, follows that method and is realistic and that you can measure it. And then, be the person that they can be positively accountable to give them that external support. So thank you very much. And I hope that's been useful. So I think that's the end of our questions for today. I'd like to thank our audience, who are our producers, for excellent questions coming in today, both posted before and live during the show. Do watch out for your names in the credits if you did post a live question. So panel, it's time for our closing remarks. So let's begin with you, Svetlana, your thoughts on today.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for listening, and I was very happy to answer all these questions. Since I'm an IT field, an IT training field, if you happen to meet in IT, please don't hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn and ask any of your questions. And if you happen to be Canadian, don't hesitate to send me your CV, and we provide consulting services all over Canada.
Thanks, Svetlana. Great to have you with us today. Imtiaz, your thoughts on today?
Yeah, really good session. Lovely questions. Just a final thought, really. Have intent. So in whether you're training, working, coaching, whatever you're doing, to work towards your next goal, have intent. Build an online profile. Don't spend half an hour scrolling through LinkedIn. Have an intent to be on it for 20 minutes a day. Comment on 2 things minimum, like 3 things, and connect with 2 new people. Right? Quite easy, quite a small little thing. But if you have that intent 5 days a week, over everything you put your mind to, you'll see the impact over time. So really have good intentions.
Yeah, great advice. Thanks very much for joining us, Imtiaz. Mart, your thoughts on today's show, please.
Thank you for the opportunity again. I would like to recommend a booklet. It's called The Unstoppable Journey, The Ultimate Business Manifestation Journal. It's from Corina Burton, and it literally helps you setting goals, but also how to achieve them and how to keep track of your goals. It's one of those booklets that helps you to become unstoppable, in essence, in you pursuing your career.
Thanks, Mart. That sounds like a good one to add to my list for this year. Shanice, your thoughts on today's show, please.
Thank you so much for having me on the panel today. It's nice to be on this side instead of the community side. Just one thing I wanted to say, just because it's the new year, it doesn't mean we all have to have goals in place right now, 13 days in. Aim to set a goal in July or August, because I think we get so wrapped up in the new year, new me. Set something further down the year to remind yourself that you can continuously set goals throughout the 365 days of any year, not just in January.
Yeah, excellent point. Well made. Thanks so much, Shanice. Rachel, your thoughts on today's show, please.
So sort of similar to what Imtiaz said, have habits in place. I don't know if you can see Atomic Habits in my bookcase behind me, but one of my favourite philosophies and quotes from James Clear is that you don't rise to the aspiration of your goal or something like that. You fall to the level of your systems. So have processes in place that you repeat, and it's that repetition and that commitment to repetition that will help you get towards your goals.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you for joining us. Panel, you've been amazing today. Some brilliant advice and feedback for our audience, and it was a great show. So, audience, if you'd like to find out more expert answers, sorry, Jenny, I forgot to ask for your feedback. Jenny, I'll just come to you for your thoughts on today.
I just wanted to say thank you to the audience for the great questions and the panel for the answers. I think it was a really great show to start the year off, and wishing everyone a positive and productive 2023.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jenny. Okay, so if you would like to find more expert answers to the audience questions from previous shows, head over to our website where you can search through over 1,700 questions from previous shows. It's a comprehensive free resource connecting you with over 180 experts from around the world. Don't forget, you can also listen to the audio version of the show on your podcast platform. So coming up next week, we have another 2 great shows. On Monday, the 16th of January, we will be discussing how to manage agile projects. And on Friday, the 20th of January, our discussion will be about how to become a project manager. So finally, just please make sure you keep in touch with all the latest episodes, and don't forget to subscribe to the show, and we'll send you a personal summary of what's coming up and how you can join us here on the panel and level up your career with APMG. Thanks, everyone. See you on the next show.